even if you do have a degree, you still need to have like your own personal brand or be doing something different to stand out. But like, as far as using LinkedIn, maybe like commenting on other people's posts and adding value and getting to know your network and actually like networking with people.
It's important to know, like, yes, you want to have those mentors and those individuals that you look up to that are maybe 10, 20 steps ahead, but it's also really, really important to learn from people who are just 1 or 2 steps ahead, because you have way more in common, you can relate to them more.
Like I said earlier, it doesn't really matter like what level you're at. You can always provide value.
All right, we are back. We are live with this episode of the How to Get a Job podcast. And today we are going to be talking about 10xing your personal brand and how to break into cyber security. And to talk about this topic, talk about this industry, I got Cybertech Dave. He's the founder of Cybertech Dave Consulting LLC. Dave has been able to amassed an amazing following on LinkedIn in the last 3 years, talking about personal branding and cybersecurity. So, Dave, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. I appreciate you having me today. How's it been going for you?
It's been going great. This is my second podcast of the day, so I love. This is one of my favorite things to do is to talk to amazing people who are passionate about similar things. Like we're both very passionate about helping young men and women land amazing jobs, and cybersecurity is such a fulfilling career that I'm really more excited to even learn from you on how we can help more young men and female. And I know for you, female is something that you're working on is a book for females to break into cybersecurity. So how do we do that more? So I would love for us to kind of start to learn more about how did you get into cybersecurity, and how did your passion for cybersecurity transition to help people break into cybersecurity?
Well, it goes back. I started working in IT a little over 10 years ago, and about I've done like help desk type stuff, system admin. Just kind of work from the bottom up, and then done some blue teaming, defensive side of security, and then some like uh, red teaming type roles, cybersecurity education. I love the education side too. Helping students as you mentioned. But what really got me into cybersecurity about 4 to 5 years ago, um, I started diving into the Security Plus certification and started learning, even more about cyber. So I kind of started at that foundational level and just kept working my way up. But I love helping organizations. I'd actually a little story that helped me. Another reason that helped me get started. I actually went into a hospital. I used to do computer repair, and
Yeah.
some places would like give me like old computers and stuff just to get them out of their way. I would be like the I guess the computer junk person to come and pick up like scraps, right? Like computer scraps that may no longer work. Well, I'd pick some up at a hospital, and actually they didn't take the hard drive out of it, in which if I'm just so glad that it didn't get into the wrong hands, because ethically, of course, I
Yeah.
destroyed it, the hard drive completely, and let them, know. But if it would have got in the wrong hands, because it had all kinds of patient information,
And then
social
HIPAA
security
laws, and
numbers.
we get complicated.
Right, and they could have lost like thousands of dollars, or if not millions, if they would have got, especially because that's a really HIPAA violation.
Yep.
all the different fines that they could have got in trouble for. Of course, I didn't like let, at the time I was like, yeah, I didn't like try to get. Of course, I wasn't going to try to get them in trouble. I just wanted to let them know, to not let that happen again, and that piqued my interest to get into cybersecurity, and that was like a long time before I was still just doing like computer repair side of
Yeah.
IT. So that really kind of piqued my interest, and like the privacy aspect as well. So I just kind of went from there, and I just kept going and just kept learning. It's like a learning process. It's kind of like going to school. Every every single day you just got to continuously learn in cyber. So.
That's super interesting. And Dave, how did your transition from like, hey, I love cybersecurity, I see how an amazing career you can have in cybersecurity, transition to essentially saying, now I want to help others build a career in cybersecurity?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've always like throughout my even before I got into cyber, I always loved the like mentoring
Hmm.
people and helping. I would be like the person like helping people with college algebra or helping them with whatever, in school. I was kind of like a tutor. I would help them the best I could, and I just love, giving back to the community, like getting involved, like volunteering, like doing fundraisers for nonprofits, things like that. I think it's just my love of just helping,
Yeah.
helping people, and I want to see people get to, you know, uh, help people like reach behind me, and help people get to. It don't matter. Like I tell people, no matter what level you're at, you can always reach back and help someone else to get to where you are today. But that's kind of a little bit about how I started focusing on the mentoring and education side of things, and also I love education. I went back to school in 2015 and got my bachelor's degree. And then I went back in 2020 and got my master's in information system management.
Yeah.
And now I just like six more classes to like dual master in my MBA program. So I'm gonna go back as soon as I get finished like writing my books. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to school because I just need the 6 classes for the MBA. So and I just want to reach back and help the students and not and let them know that they can do it if they're interested in going back, and if they can't afford to go back to school, I want to show them like the personal branding side and like cheaper like options, more affordable options where they can stand out. And because as we know, it takes more, especially in the cybersecurity industry. It takes a lot more than just a degree, or well, even if you not well, I can rephrase that. Even if you do have a degree, you still need to have like your own personal brand or be doing something different to stand out. But or if you don't have a degree, so it doesn't really matter. You just got to keep investing in yourself. So.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that and about personal branding. And how do you think having a strong personal brand on LinkedIn helps job seekers and even in particular in cybersecurity stand out?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it helps tremendously because I personally like my last 2 jobs that I found that it actually came through LinkedIn because I was like writing content every single day, and like and the content I was writing was like around cybersecurity articles and like home, like let's say if you're going to build a home lab, like a cyber networking lab, you could write like how you document exactly how you did that, and that way it gives you more visibility to hiring managers and recruiters. And I kept doing that. I started out on LinkedIn just posting like once a week, maybe 15 minutes a day. I tell people to, just do like bite-sized chunks, maybe 15 minutes of the morning, 15 afternoon, and then of the evening maybe do like 15 more minutes.
Wait,
But
when you say 15 more minutes, is that on content writing, or what would
or
you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have clarified better. I mean, like as far as using LinkedIn, maybe like commenting on other people's posts and adding value and getting to know your network and actually like networking with people for like 15 incremental parts throughout the day, and then maybe spend 15 minutes on your content writing as well, especially until you get more used to posting. Because I know I was afraid to post, when I first started, and I hear that a lot. People talking about that they're afraid to post. So I think that gets people used to like posting, and then they can start like posting maybe once or three times a week. Once they get comfortable with it. So, and it helps build your personal brand as well if you can, especially find that niche. Like if you want to write about what we're doing, like personal branding. Let's say, just write about different aspects each day, about personal branding, and then just make yourself like known or the go-to, for that part service, or become known uh, for that niche.
What would you say to, like, if I'm early in my career, I'm a job seeker, maybe recent grad, to say like, hey, Dave, maybe it's easier for you to come up with something to write, but like, I don't feel like I'm an expert in anything. So I feel like I have this imposter syndrome to write content. Like, I don't even know how to get started. Like, what advice do you have to someone that might have those questions?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. What I usually tell people is, let's say, for example, I'm going to go with someone like in cybersecurity field. Say if you're in the cybersecurity field, let's say if you're studying for your Security Plus certification, and if you want to write, maybe like read a chapter each day, and let's say you read a chapter in the Security Plus book, and then you would like write about what you learned, each day, just like bite-sized chunks of what you learned. So I tell people, like I said earlier, it doesn't really matter like what level you're at. You can always provide value for someone behind you. That's kind of what I was afraid of when I first started. I was thinking like, who am I to write about something, that I don't know about. And then you're thinking, and then after you think about it, you can think about it like this, like, well, it's actually helping someone else that's behind you. And then, you just keep writing about what whether that be like about confidentiality, integrity, insecurity, privacy. Just you can start out writing about the fundamentals, and then just keep uh,
Yeah.
working your way up, if that makes
No,
sense.
it makes a lot of sense. I think this is so important to kind of even elaborate a little bit more for our listeners, is because I think it's understanding there's always going to be someone that's more knowledgeable than you in something. And so, like, for me, sometimes I feel like imposter syndrome of, why do I feel that I'm qualified enough to coach other business owners on something, when I know that there's other business people or entrepreneurs who are more successful than me. And I think the idea you just said is just so important, is I'm only coaching them on things that I've been there, done that. I'm only coaching them on things that I'm just maybe 2, 3 steps ahead. Because sure,
Mhm.
would I say that Elon Musk knows more about business than I do? Absolutely. That guy is a genius and knows
Right.
more about business than probably anybody else that walks the planet. But a lot of the advice that he might give is too much disconnection to where I am today. And therefore, somebody who's maybe starting off their business and might not know the difference between an LLC or an S corp, or might not know between a group program or one-on-one coach, like doesn't know which one to pick. My advice become more relevant because I've recently been there. And I think it's important to know, like, yes, you want to have those mentors and those individuals that you look up to that are maybe 10, 20 steps ahead. But it's also really, really important to learn from people who are just 1 or 2 steps ahead, because you have way more in common, you can relate to them more. And so this also goes back to you as a student, recent grad, early career professional, to say, I'm not here to tell. I don't. I think we can agree that we're not here to tell you to say you are the expert in cybersecurity, that no one knows more than you when you're earlier on. We're here to just say, just share what you've learning step by step. Document the journey, like Gary Vaynerchuk will always say. Document the journey. And then the people that maybe are seniors or juniors in their careers are learning from you, but at the same time you're able to showcase to recruiters and hiring manager that this person is passionate about cybersecurity, that this person knows what those basic things that are needed to do the level entry roles, and that does build your brand. So I do think you don't need to be a guru or an expert to post on LinkedIn. And if you can get beyond that scareness of posting, and you even post once a month, you are already beating 98% of people on LinkedIn, because only 2% of people on LinkedIn post once a month or more. And so if you do get to the rhythm that, Dave, that you're sharing about, hey, how do we get you to get to 3 times a week? You are going to just massively stand out. And that claim, or that thing that you have on your headline of, I help people 10x their personal brand, can easily be matched and met just by simply working like on posting, on just posting. And I think something that you said, Dave, I didn't want to interrupt because I think it
Mhm.
was really cool, is that you were talking about spending just 15 minutes a day, or even in the morning and that afternoon, but commenting and networking. And I think that is also massively valuable to understand that to me, that there's a couple of ways for you to get value, get traction on your profile, right? You can
Right.
post, and that leads to more visibility to your profile, which your LinkedIn profile is your digital resume. That's one way, most intimidating way, but one way. Another way is by engaging in somebody else's post. So if you are commenting on, for example, Dave's post, and you leave a meaningful comment, that comment will be shown to more people. And so you have Dave here with 100,000 plus followers, right? He probably gets tens of thousands of views on every single one of his posts. And if you're commenting there, you're going to be able to get hundreds of views to your profile just by you commenting on Dave, if your comment is meaningful. And then the third way is in the DMs, right? If you message someone that works at the company you want to work for, that's the hiring manager, the recruiter, or has the job that you want to have, that's going to lead to people, before replying to you, say, okay, who is this guy? Let me check their profile. And then that gets you visibility. Dave, anything you wanted to add there, or anything
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah. Since you're talking about especially like visibility, like standing
yeah,
out, building your personal brand, I tell people to, like we talked about earlier, like commenting on people's posts, and if you can find like, let's say if you can pick three to five companies, let's say you want to work at, and if you want to like target those companies and like talk to people inside the companies, and then like reach out and maybe talking about networking, just don't be afraid to ask them for maybe a 15-minute can I coffee chat. Let's say if you wanted to become a pen tester or a sock analyst, risk analyst, find someone that where you want to be at, like what you'd said earlier, maybe one step above you, but not too high, because if you go too high, they can't relate with you as much. So you find like that one step above you, and you can reach out and network and talk to them, and too, and if you can get referrals and they get used to seeing your name, you commenting and like actually be like meaningful, comments, they're gonna remember that, and possibly give you referrals, because I've had that to happen to me a lot, just knowing who I am. They're like, yeah, and they just hand your resume straight to the hiring manager, and then it bypasses the HR and all of that. So yeah, I think a lot of times just becoming, known, and not being afraid to put yourself out there. And a little bit more I would like to add. I actually, about two years ago, I came up with a 100-day challenge. It's a LinkedIn challenge. It's completely free. It's just hashtag CyberTechDave 100 days of cyber challenge. I know that's a mouthful, but but yeah, it's a long hashtag. So, but anyway, it's hashtag CyberTechDave 100 days of cyber challenge. And what you do is you post on LinkedIn for 100 days straight, whether you're like reading about an article, maybe it's a video that you recently watched, as long as you're like posting, about what you learned or giving insights on something, just keep posting. And that actually puts your profile, if you do that every single day for 100 days, that's going to put your LinkedIn profile, that's going to trigger the algorithm, and that's going to let put you on the top, your profile on the top, to help you gain more visibility for hiring managers, recruiters, just other people. They're going to see that, like what you said earlier. If you're commenting on somebody's post that has 10,000 followers or 50,000 followers, your post is going to get, or comments, they're going to get more visibility. Then that's something else I recommend. I pick out, like when I first started, maybe after I learned, just what kind of learn as you go. But I picked out like 5 people that I wanted to be like, in the industry, or become, as far as like working, like, because I wanted to become a blue teamer. So I picked out 5 people that I followed that had like a really high, let's say, following, like what we said, maybe 10,000 or above people. And, I would comment on their posts every day. And then some of these people we're really, really good friends, friends today. So these can also become really good friendships as well, if you really like network with people, and talk. Just don't,
Right.
always tell people, just don't be afraid to talk to people, because there's more people that's willing to help you than you realize.
Yeah, I agree. I think most people are good and most people want to help. I think it's finding the right person and being able to be genuinely build relationships. So I think everything you just shared is so true. Dave, let
Mhm.
me ask you a question as we wrap up. You know, tell us a little bit more about like how you help, job seekers, and if they want to learn more about it, how can they connect with you and just, I guess, have a conversation about what the services you provide.
Yes, of course, the best way they can connect with me is just on LinkedIn. So they could. That's usually where I do like most of my, because I don't. I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't use it much. So I just say like LinkedIn. Right now, and my services, I'm actually doing like a webinar each month. It's like how to break into cyber and how to find your personal brand. I'll be covering actually some of the things that we talked about today, but a little bit more in depth. course or class. I offer that as of right now, like once a month. I think I have like 100, up to 100 seats, available.
Yeah.
And they can reach out to me, or they can find me on the website called Top Mate.
Hmm.
Top Mate. Just put David
Yeah.
Me Cyber Tech Dave Top Mate, and that should be able to pull me. And they can also find the link on my LinkedIn profile for the Top Mate as well. And I'm also just a I'm gonna put just a little plug for my uh, for my book. I actually co-wrote a book uh, with my co-writer, Dr. Willie Sant Jr. He's a really great guy. I co-wrote a red teaming book with Dr. Willie. Also co-written a women in cybersecurity book with Emily Zackett. Me and her, we put it's called Stronger Together is the book. Women in Cyber. There's over 100 women that's came together to tell their stories, like how they got into cyber, how they broke in. We're also focusing on DEI, diversity,
Yep.
uh,
Equity
DEI,
and inclusion.
and
Yep.
male allies ship, because and all the money on that book will go to women in cybersecurity scholarships for the next generation. So if anyone has any questions about any of that, just feel free to reach out. I'm very, I'll definitely get back with you. So.
Awesome. No, Dave, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your knowledge, your advice with us. If you're listening to this, if you haven't already, follow Dave. There's shows on the show notes. I've also tagged them on the LinkedIn, so you can go ahead and follow. If you are enjoying this podcast, if you came value it, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with your friends. Any friends that maybe are needing to need this, they want to build their personal brand, want to go into cybersecurity. This is the episode to do that. Dave, again, thanks for being here. Thanks everyone for listening, and catch you guys on the next episode.
All right. Thank you.